These lanes, the laning phase is going to be really important for them to find. Some good spirits between both Divine Llama and GPK. Always good to see that.
It's kind of the thing, right? It feels like Divine Llama's the kind of guy that's like actually unlikable. And you and I haven't met him, but he just seems like that kind of guy. That is like
Unlikable?
literally I mean, it's hard to dislike him is what I'm trying to say, John.
Yeah, no. For sure. Like, we've had a chat with a guy, I think at least one time, right? And it's very, very easy to talk to a person. I just find the voice line usage of GPK afterwards is not quite reflective of that nature, but it's banter. You know, it's banter.
And if your friends aren't giving you crap, John, who is? You know? Big wraparound. Heroic. It's a 5-on-5 smoke situation going on here. Divine Llama going to sneak behind, but it seems as though BetBoom team might be well aware that this could be coming. Smoke will be broken on KJ, so they'll see the edge. They'll see K1 to boot, who I believe got too close to the tier 2 tower. They want to fight BetBoom. They're setting up Nightfall. He could go for a pretty big stun here. He'll see Divine Llama, though he's the one who gets stunned first, but the Astral Prism is going to save for now as Nightfall. He'll throw the stun onto Divine. Divine the big target, though Nightfall's the one going down, and he will fall. Divine Llama able to walk his way out of that situation. BetBoom, I mean, they lose themselves a position 1 Sven and First Blood.
And that's a big kill away to give away onto Analog as well. Him having that little bit of a boost into that early bottle should help to sustain up against this matchup of the OD, which again isn't going to be too fun for Analog early on. So very big boon for the side of Heroic. Good tone to start with, even though the smoke kind of almost falls flat. Positioning BetBoom team not quite there. It feels like they were looking for that Stormhammer into the arrow before the hoof stomp came off. Just couldn't quite angle it through the fog there for Nightfall. Does get punished for it. Still, taking a look at these lanes breaking up top. Again, you've got the Sven and Miran lane for Nightfall and Toronto Tokyo up against Divine Llama and Schofield on that Lion and Centaur. Very straightforward lane for BetBoom team. Stormhammer into arrows, what you're going to be looking for. You have to respect the double stuns on Heroic as well. But it is a fairly annoying lane for the Centaur to just feel safe, especially once that point and great cleave is out. Free harassment for Nightfall. No worries about retaliate. Tends to be left at level 1 at most in the laning phase, so all things considered, outside of the chain stuns, you probably don't have enough in the tank to fully kill off Nightfall unless he takes a couple too many pot shots and still stick to that lane.
Hey, should be just fine. Of course, the other side lane as well, you've got Mieto and Save against KJ and K1. Feels like a bit of a similar story here, though I suppose you could go for a bit of a dive with the Bat Tiny. For now, of course, they are just going to prioritize their own farm, get those levels up onto Miero before they do get aggressive at all.
Denied.
For now, it seems like it is going to be a pretty smooth type for K1, though. Like, at the very least for K1, you know, no matter what you say about his performances, he has been having some pretty good laning stages.
Yeah, his farm has been steady. I don't expect too different here. It does take quite a few bits of experience for the side of BetBoom team to kind of get aggression going. You know, you're looking at a level 3 spike, more than likely, before the dives start to feel good. Level 3 at the very least on Miero, so the damage can start rolling up. KJ, you know, he's already started with the enchant, so he can slow down that gap closing that they have to do with Save, or even Miero when he tries to run down. And it leads to a very comfy lane for Hector, which is necessary. And the Maelstrom timing for him is key in keeping up with the farm pace that he can expect from Nightfall with his own natural farm, just being a Sven.
Bit of an attempt here onto Miero, but Save was there with the Avalanche to ensure they are forced to back away. Perhaps a bit of a fight to come out here for the Lotus Pool timing. KJ is going to try and fight Save over this. We'll go KJ's way, though. Bit unfortunate for Save, but just wasn't able to click quite fast enough. Looking back to that mid lane for a moment, GPK having a pretty damn good time. I mean, Analog, of course, he is at a disadvantage. Still 10 CS, 2 denies, but GPK is certainly going to be pulling ahead.
That he is. And again, to be expected for the OD up against a melee matchup like this. It is a little bit of a struggle for Analog. I'm wondering how much they prioritize the power runes here for BetBoom in particular. Mainly just to deny off Analog, any sort of top-up play. The 6-minute green is going to be the big one that determines whether or not Analog can do something to equalize lane, maybe get some attention from his supports. They've got good rotation potential with a line and Ench. It's just a matter of, are you free enough to leave your side lanes? And at the moment, for the side of Heroic, it doesn't quite feel that way. And you could certainly leave the Vi Llama alone at some point, but that threat of double stun is always there.
That it is. A Nightfall. Coming a double edge to Vi Llama. Get a little bit lower, does need to retreat. Does now pick up his Helm of the Iron Wall though, so Regen does come in as they do go for a stun onto Nightfall into the double edge, and Nightfall is gone. Very nice setup here from Schofield, and Devi Llama, he will capitalize immediately.
Yeah, I like seeing this from Schofield. Going for the 1-0-2 build, 2 points in the mana drain. No one has mana. You had no mana for the Stormhammer there for Nightfall. This is the best build if you can get away with it. So annoying. Like, what are you going to do? If you see the line mana draining you, what? You're going to arrow the line? Who cares? He's going to be far back enough.
I must admit, every single time I have to play against a line support and they max mana drain, it drives me absolutely insane. It really does. I get so mad. I can't remember being this mad at any other hero in a long time.
That's the point. That's what I'm saying. It's so fun. As the line in that case, you're having fun. The enemy isn't. Great fun.
Save? That's not very fun. He'll die to KJ. The KJ having a great old time on the Ench. Now going to start harassing out Miero. It's going to mean that K1 can get even more free farmers. Miero now in a lot of danger on this Bat Rider. Is going to be able to barely survive. Unable to get the final right click off in time is K1. Nevertheless, though, I mean, he's top of the CS board. He's having a great old time. Sure, you are still at a pretty big disadvantage considering you are up against an OD as a Troll Warlord, but there comes a point where K1 could become a huge problem. In fact, he's in huge trouble right now. K1 will get dived here thanks to Save and Miero, who use the stick charges. He'll go for a run with the slow up. Miero still going for the chase, trying his absolute best to keep up with K1, but they can't get him. K1 will survive.
Just enough. Had to pop quite a fair bit to stay there, but cuts off a lot. That's a lot of resources being spent by BetBoom. Emphasis on mid right now.
Absolutely. They've got the OD locked down there for a moment. Problem is Schofield is being forced back here thanks to Toronto Tokyo. Now, obviously, you really want to try and slow down GPK as much as possible, but that's not really happening quite yet as Miero, bottom lane, barely able to get away once again. It's K1 getting a little bit too low in the HP department to keep going, but here comes Analog. After save, he'll miss the Aether Remnant. He has no level 6 yet, so no Astral Step charges. But with the Ensnare out, they will be able to secure, and of all people, KJ will take it.
Yeah, you're happy with that. Maybe not as happy without giving Analog the kill, but does manage to get the EXP to hit his level 6. Can't really find that free EXP on mid, but how oppressive GPK is. So exploits the side lanes. A solid start for Heroic, 4-0 to kick off. They've managed to start digging themselves an advantage here. Already at the top for Hector and Devi Llama and early in that fort. Only Analog suffering, but even that margin isn't too bad. He's about 100 gold behind the OD. So all things considered, despite the slower start for Analog, still gonna have roughly decent timings here. Unless...
Mid lane, the Analog does get stunned by the arrow, but it's not gonna matter. It's just not long enough. They just don't quite have enough damage without the Arcane Orb being maxed out yet. It doesn't really matter though. I mean, Analog, he has fallen very far behind. Now about half the CS of GPK, which again is to be expected, but it's not going to spell out the greatest of news here for Heroic.
No. And they do have some solid foundations elsewhere. Like, you are getting some steady EXP for Schofield, already level 5. About hit 6, has the level 3 mana drain. This is extra annoying, has gone for the 1-1 tree. And their constant presence on mid is just trying to nullify this presence of GPK. Oh.
They'll drop the hammer immediately, though mid lane Toronto does also get caught out, looking for a leap away, but Analog will secure. Income save now to Schofield. Schofield to go down. This will be a 2-for-1 trade on the supports in the favor of BetBoom. Analog, sadly, also probably going to miss out on the power rune as save does just take an invis for himself. So, BetBoom once again coming out on top. Probably very, very happy with that trade for GPK.
And that's the sort of movement we were looking for from BetBoom team for the power runes, right? 6-minute rune doesn't quite go as contested. We managed to find punishment this time around. Some really good positioning out from Toronto Tokyo. And the damage output of this OD, you can't disrespect that Santa's Eclipse. You can't disrespect that control.
Lasso is available. They'll go for the tossback play first, trying to hold on to the Lasso, though K1, he gets the battle trance off in time, forcing the Lasso anyway. K1 going after Miero with the battle trance, will not be able to get him in time. BetBoom trying to get a little bit greedier there to hold on to the cooldowns, but ultimately do have to use them.
Yeah, good punishment coming out from BetBoom as well. Just trying to slow down Hector after pretty free lane. In comparison, there's been a lot of pressure onto Nightfall up top. Still getting jumped here.
Absolutely, but Nightfall is just going to hide in the tree line and does make it out. KJ going to go for the enchant onto Nightfall. Here comes Analog to help out. No TPs yet, but they are coming through the twin gates. So KJ does get caught. Astrolad as well has caught Devi Llama. Devi, he'll try for a TP play out. They have the toss up though from Save. Devi, a nice attempt, but it won't matter. He is going to drop here to Toronto Tokyo. So BetBoom, I mean, they don't TP, but they do get through the twin gates and they will rotate in time to find a double.
Yeah. Again, equalizing after a little bit of a slower start outside of the mid lane here for BetBoom. All down to the activity of Toronto, Tokyo, and Save. Like these guys, again, amazing rotational supports, the Mirana and the Tiny R, even without too many items up. They're starting to really ramp up. They're slowing down Devi. They've managed to knock down that early lead Devi and Hector did manage to build up by just a tad. And this is the point in the game where Nightfall can just take over. He's got max out cleave, he's got free reign in the jungle. There are good wards watching, but they're not in a position to really utilize that yet in Heroic.
They are not. BetBoom. Smoke up, looking to head down towards the south. Schofield, he'll go for an Earth Spike. Miero does get caught by the Hex as well. K1 though, realizing he does need to get the hell away, but the tossback is out from Save, right into the lasso of the Batrider. K1, he'll get the battle trance off in time, but he'll have to go underneath the bottom T1. Maybe he can find Toronto before he dies, but not quite. He is down once again. A beautiful setup here from Save. It just feels like recently, every time Heroic try to get aggressive, they do get punished quite heavily.
Yeah, they've just managed to set their sights properly in BetBoom. It's just down to the presence of those two supports.
Oh, the hammer's available. GPK, he's trying to get the Sanity's Eclipse off in time. He'll drop it, but it won't be enough damage. A very, very important kill here for Heroic. Here comes Save with the Moonlight Shadow, trying to find a bit of a trade. So they will find Schofield on the line, but Analog's going to end up picking off Toronto. So another big win here for Heroic now. As Analog finding some much needed gold.
Finding some good punishment for Heroic. Just a little bit of a deeper dive by GPK, not respecting the response from the side of Heroic. And even though these supports aren't as mobile and can't jump as well, they still have a lot of setup, especially the line. GPK just has to watch himself a little bit. 7-7 evens out the game for Heroic. Not a major lead for either side. Finding some good punishment for Heroic. Just a little bit of a deeper dive by GPK, not respecting the response from the side of Heroic. And even though these supports aren't as mobile and can't jump as well, they still have a lot of setup, especially the line. GPK just has to watch himself a little bit. 7-7 evens out the game for Heroic. Not a major lead for either side. Unfortunately for Schofield, he didn't manage to find that finger charge though. But it's probably just a bonus for that first finger. You don't really care too much. Would want to ramp it up for that level 15 talent down the line. Still, not the highest priority as long as this Void Spirit manages to find some wins.
I really wish they would alter the finger bonuses a little bit. Like, I appreciate they gave the plus 40 damage per kill, but I really dislike how long the cooldown of finger is at level 1.
Yeah.
140 seconds, it's just too much. It's way too much.
It is. Like, it's...
K1. Lasso's out. I don't believe they'll have enough control this time for K1. A lot of rotations being forced here by Heroic. And Muerto, he's happy with it. I mean, seeing Divine Llama TP down towards the bottom lane, it amounts to nothing. He did also have the Stampede anyway. So chances are they could have gotten the troll out of there from the opposite side of the map, but not quite this time.
Yeah, it is a little bit of time being expended here by Devi. Got a very free top lane presenting itself for Nightfall to keep that farm game up. They'll try to get a smoke rotation out of this. Again, with this time commitment out. No, Blink is up on Devi as well, so it's going to be a really good reveal with that Veil. Just needs the right target. So far, none of the core is in vision, though. I mean, I suppose GPK is, but it's fairly far back. With the tier 1 still standing, that kind of rotation is a little bit tougher.
Heroic will start to make their move in. They'd love to find GPK. Stampede pop, GPK, he'll get caught. A perfect hoof stop coming up from Devi. GPK, still alive, but not for long. He's finally down. A lot of commitment required to secure that kill, but they will get it done. And now Heroic looking towards the tier 1 mid tower. The TP rotations are to come. Even the Sven moving in, Save, he'll get there with an Avalanche and a Toss combination. Stormhammer out, but they still want the fight. Heroic are not retreating. They're onto the Tiny now. Save is going to go down. And Heroic, I'll tell you what, John, they are looking fantastic now. They won't find the tier 1 mid tower, but they get a lot of damage off. And BetBoom, they're forced to rotate, even with Nightfall, and they still can't win out the fight.
Yeah, it's a massive commitment out from BetBoom. GPK just constantly being chain stunned. And they managed to find this angle using that vision they had earlier on just to angle into the rear of that tier 1 and make it work. The response time from BetBoom team just a little bit too slow. Mid tier 1 cleared out, more access to play with these wards that they had, although Toronto will take at least one of them out. They still have that one forward jungle ward standing to help them scout around here on the side of Heroic. And a very successful blink reveal from Devi. I think the issue for BetBoom team, we were talking about how great this OD pick is. One issue for OD now is just trying to flash farm back into the game. It does not feel amazing to try to build back after a slower start on this hero. And GPK has started to lag behind. Is behind in comparison to Devi and Analog, considering how rough Analog's lane is. Not the scenario you want to find yourself in. And BetBoom team haven't been able to really pressure towers just yet. It is something they'll need to start to apply that consistent pressure onto Hector, because even after a slower start, Hector will still find that farm, as we've seen time and time again. And the map still favors him, and they've still got full control here on the side of Heroic.
But on T1 tower, it is going down pretty much for free. Mieto not really having any kind of contention here. Heroic will take the opposite T1 tower up at the top lane. I mean, lines have been drawn out from Heroic. It seems as though they want to stick around this top side of the map. The GPK is going to show up now, finding an Astral onto the Troll Warlord. You do have the Blink available on Save for the tossback plays, if you so wish, but this time around Save, he's going to hold out. Go for a reveal a little bit later on. And with that, Heroic still looking very confident, just moving across the map as a 3-man unit. Thing is, you really aren't slowing down Nightfall that much, which is probably going to be the big issue here, I think, for Heroic, is the fact that this Sven is still freely farming his triangle. But we'll come to that when we, when we get there. John, for now, Nightfall just kind of staying out of vision, not really being caught out.
Yeah, just needs that BKB to be up and running to feel pretty happy as the Sven. Might be able to see the Ags and Blink as well down the line just for some added mobility for Nightfall to get that spacing he'd want in these fights. You have a full Shivas up and running on Yarrow, so a lot more output and a lot more durability for him up front. Getting bursted down by, say, the right clicks of Hector can be a tougher prospect for Hector to get done when Mieru does dive in. Again, some good options here for BetBoom team. I think, again, the key aspect for BetBoom team, despite all of these great starts for Nightfall, is that they're still catching up for GPK. Mind you, he's not too far behind in comparison, but the item spikes for OD just feel so pivotal for this hero to be online. Heroic not going to be sitting around too long. We'll go for that smoke play out. Finger at the ready. Stampede as well.
Oh,
they've lost their vision up top, though.
They will get right towards K1. K1's not going to join them. I thought perhaps you could think about a smoke into a pick-off into a Roshan attempt, but it seems like Heroic have different plans. Not interested in trying to force Roshan quite yet. They'll get some vision down around the area of the that dire jungle. They are not able to find BetBoom, though. BetBoom have smoked up themselves. They get to the Radiant jungle, the bottom side of the map. Heroic, I mean, they are still kind of looking around, but they are now being pinged out as BetBoom. They're going to run right into him. They had vision over Divine Llama, but he's going to blink away. BetBoom, they are still on the chase. They really want this fight. Moonlight Shadow is going to be popped. They're running directly into Analog, and they're going to find the Void Spirit. Arrow's going to connect. Analog is gone. Divine, though, going to jump in, trying after GPK, but GPK still managing to walk away for now, but not for long. He is gone. In they go for more. Here comes Nightfall on a KJ. They'll find the Ench. K1, he wants the man fight apparently. And Nightfall, he's going to back his way out. He doesn't want it yet. They'll move on to Schofield instead. They'll take down the Lion. This K1, he is able to just casually TP away. But BetBoom, they'll be very happy with that fight. A 4-for-1 trade in their favor. Only losing GPK on the OD. Even though it is your mid OD getting lost there, you won't mind too much, John. You got 4 heroes for that.
Yeah, it's very well worthwhile for the side of BetBoom. You are seeing the annoyance again that Schofield provides as the line with the early shard. Like that slow, it just forces them to have to kill off the line first, giving that spacing for Hector to bail himself out. Still, sacrifices, heavy sacrifices being made by the side of Heroic. Again, that smoke movement without the vision to back it up top just made that really rough for them to start that smoke off. Whereas for BetBoom team, gave them a much better idea starting off from bot into that mid area, knowing that, all right, we've scouted pretty much all the way down bot. They have a tier 1, no one's farming here, so they can instantly deduce there was a failed smoke out, and the punishment is there. Heroic have lost that vision they dropped in the smoke as well. It's just a really dark map. They've got just a couple of wards in their bot jungle at the least, but no one's playing there from BetBoom team. Like, they're not crossing into the deeper parts of that jungle just yet. So the ganks are just not quite lining up for Heroic. BetBoom, again, great usage of information, are starting to ramp up. They've got the Force Staff for GPK going into the Hurricane Pike next. You've got that BKB up and running for Nightfall into his Ags, so Superman's going to be online. They're also starting to keep track of Roshan just a bit. At the least, no early Rosh access for Hector, as you mentioned earlier as a possibility, not quite there. And that does hold back the potential for Heroic. Like, the ideal circumstances, a bit of a team fight into Roshan, into an objective, into the tier 2. Very fast to find with the troll, but again, nothing quite lining up for Heroic with these kinds of openings.
Absolutely not. Heroic. Not too far behind. I mean, just 2k behind here on the Radiant end of things. It's not too far at all. Problem is, Roshan is freely being taken here by BetBoom. Seems like they are well and truly going to be able to get away with this, as Miero in the meantime does get caught down at bottom lane, pushing out the lane a bit too far, but it is taking a very long time to actually deal with this Batrider. He will finally die, but he does successfully allow his team to just take Roshan for free, and pings are already coming out towards K1 up at the top lane. GPK not giving up on the chase, really wants an attempt at his life, but will barely miss out. K1 is going to be able to successfully get back towards that Radiant Triangle.
They don't give anything out at the very least for Heroic. Having a secondary life on GPK does change things. He's been a priority on these jump-ins from Heroic. They've been blowing all their spells onto this OD, just to ensure that he can't get off these astral saves, can't get off the hammer in a bigger way, with bigger mana pool disparities between these heroes. With a secondary life, it becomes hard to see these fights working out for Heroic. They've got to isolate really well, play the burst game, pull back, reset, come back in, try to get a offensive use of the Battle Trance out from Hector, or just a fight where he doesn't have to pop it at all, ideally. And those are all circumstances that are very hard to work in. Down bot, though.
Jump is there. Miero going to be all right. Chase is on for KJ now. KJ trying to back his way up, probably not going to make it. But they even popped a God Strength from Nightfall just in case. That seems like Nightfall. He'll try to use that God Strength a little bit to good use here, just going after the bottom tier 2 perhaps, but they are lacking a creep wave. So instead it's into the mid tier 1 tower. And I don't believe Heroic are going to be trying to defend this one. They are not in a position to try. Back Miero, he's the one on the hunt. Finding Schofield, forcing out a Stampede usage here from Divine Llama, even spotting out a Void Spirit Courier. They are still chasing down Schofield. The toss is out onto Miero. Schofield trying his absolute best to just try and get away. And for now, he has made it. But here comes GPK. drops the Sanity's Eclipse. Why the hell not? Just secures the kill. Poor old Schofield, he tried so hard.
Yeah, I mean, he is playing Lion. You would expect. Even blowing Sanity's Eclipse, a pretty long cooldown. The emotional relief on GPK to finally see that hero dead is massive, Mike, as you would know. But how annoying the line is. So GPK, very happy to just use that off. Is going into the Ag, so additional security with that Essence Flux. Having that barrier just makes it even tougher to go look for that blow up. Again, considering that GPK has been the primary target whenever these rotations break out, it makes sense. And it's going to make it a lot tougher to open up Hector.
K1, you've got to be very careful, sir. Save. Oh, does he see him? Oh, I think they do. Toss back on a GPK. Stormhammer is out. Arrow is actually going to connect onto the troll. Oh, K1, he went for the Manta usage, but the arrow's still connected. Then he threaded the needle himself. Divine Lava's gone. On to KJ. I know you want to see a replay, John. How did that happen?
100%. He manted in place. I think he was literally in the middle of the Manta. Yeah, that is such bad luck, Hector. Oh my god. That is just unfortunate. Couldn't even get off battle trance.
You punched the monitor right after that. It doesn't matter. We'll replace it. Don't worry, K1. Punch the monitor. We don't blame you, sir.
That is, oh man, that is a rough go. Off that opening, you find all of these kills for BetBoom. You've got an angle back in. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, what can you do? You know, you tried. You used your Manta. Doesn't save you. It's like, oh well. Yes, Gabe isn't feeling me today.
I mean, in fairness, he did have did he have the BKB in that fight?
Radiant.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're just, he died.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but very fortunate for BetBoom team. 11-17, 8k lead already up. Full Ags being completed now for GPK. A lot of protection up front, even with the Aegis set to expire in a minute. Taking their Tormentor as well. Freebie will go the way of save. So a little bit more damage coming out for the Tiny. And not the most impactful, but certainly is something nice to have, I suppose, especially in a siege. Hector could be a target again.
Not again. Oh, I think you're right here, John. Man, usage is out a little bit early. Save, though, going to be in a little bit of danger. Arrow, not going to land. He does get a Yules off onto the Tiny. Meanwhile, Device shows up going right onto the OD. So GPK in trouble now. Save still trying to... Oh, Save, he tossed him in! Lasso's out of Miero, holding down the troll wall. And K1, meanwhile, going after GPK. K1 with the BKB feeling very invincible at the moment. We'll continue on to GPK, but here comes Nightfall. Triple kill for this man. Oh, he annihilates the side of Heroic. The fourth one out for GPK. It's kind of something you can't really underestimate, John. You've got the X up onto the OD now as well. So he's got the Essence Flux barrier.
That he did, and he still had enough time on Aegis. It expires after the fight, even if they managed to find that kill. Really changed too much there for Heroic. And again, BetBoom team always on the offensive, in the right spot, just camping that area, having a good ward, watching by the cliff of the secret shop, giving them the information. No one's going to be backing up Hector in a timely manner, and they force it. Maybe they find everything they could possibly ask for. Ags on Nightfall as well, providing that mobility. Again, just BetBoom team using the map so damn well, reading Hector's farming patterns really well. They know when this guy's dipping in and out with the illusions. They know he's going to double dip and send the main hero back when the illusions are gone. And they punish. And this is very clean coming out from BetBoom so far. 12-21, 14k up. And for the side of Heroic, they still have ways back. Like, Troll towards the late game can be a massive issue. It's just, we're not at that point just yet.
Radiant are scanning.
I was meant to have this. Unstoppable.
That's what I'm talking about.
No. I mean, KJ just gets caught out by Save on the Tiny. A little easy kind of toss-back play here from our Tiny. Save having a great old time this game. Looking towards the bottom tier 2 tower, here is BetBoom. GPK, he can't really do it himself on the OD, so he'll just leave it alone for now. It's Heroic well, they are kind of stuck on their own side of the map right now. Things are looking a little bit tough for them. Currently 16k net worth behind. K1 on the Troll Warlord not looking amazing either. You know, Nightfall's really just out-farmed him completely on the Sven now, and it's looking a lot better when it comes to the carry matchup. A save, a nice toss back once again, is going to find Schofield. Not much you can do once you show up against the Tiny. Just immediate death for you.
Yeah, you just get deleted. Yeah, not many save potential here for Heroic as well when that initiation kicks in, outside of just Stampede, but Stampede's not going to save you from the jetliner that Tiny is piloting, unfortunately. Again, for Heroic, it doesn't feel like they counterfight all too well. Outside of, again, disengage with Stampede, their lineup has to be the one jumping in. You have to have this stable follow-through for Divide Llama and Analog when you do fully commit inside. The Ag's timing for Analog could change things up. You don't have a BKB on GPK, for example, so that is a shortcoming you can't exploit here. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to clean up Nightfall after the fact. Like, yeah, you can probably take care of GPK with a couple of silences up with that Resonant Pulse from Analog with the Ags, but the Sven is going to be your next issue, and that just feels like it has no real answers.
There's a big smoke out here from Heroic. You kind of question where this leads. Feels a little bit desperate here from the side of Heroic, that's for sure. I mean, they are close to save. Maybe they can think about the Tiny. He does reveal himself. They will make the jump. Moonlight Shadow is popped to try and help out save, but it is not going to be anywhere near enough. He does just get destroyed. Smoke at least does pan out in some form of a kill. Problem is BetBoom may look to just fight anyway. They are still hanging around this bottom area. But nevertheless, never mind. They do look to retreat.
Should be a free tier 1 for Heroic, and that does set up for Roshan in a minute 40, just having a little bit more recheck.
Jump is out, Lasso catching K1, he'll get the battle trance in time, he'll try to survive through it, but there's just so much control and damage. Still trying, Astral is out to try and save the Sven. They do lose Toronto, but how do you get K1 out of there? The answer is you don't. Maybe Nightfall, though, does go down. They will get the Sven. It's not the worst fight in the world for Heroic quite yet, but it might just be very soon. Analog still trying to remove himself from this team fight, is going to jump to the high ground, but Miera's already waiting. So a 3-for-1, it might even be a 4-for-1, because Save now has found himself a Centaur. Divine Llama trying to get his way out, but the lockdown is just way too much from the Tiny. Yeah, they don't have Lasso for another 15 seconds, but they don't really need it. Eventually, Devi accepts his own death.
Yeah. Not much you can really do, and Heroic trying to use Hector as bait does at least find one, but it feels like an either-or situation. You can take care of the Sven or take care of the OD. You can't take care of both of them at once. And the backup for Hector just felt a little bit too slow. Like, he was sieging tier 1. His team was in the general area. The response time comes after he gets dragged behind that tier 1. And they don't manage to capitalize on Hector just putting his body forward. Really good movement out from BetBoom to sort of punish. And now, whatever advantage you were looking for taking tier 1 into securing the Roche areas is completely gone for Heroic. In fact, it's BetBoom that has easy access to Roche now, as they are already scouting out with GPK just camping 10 seconds away. Secondary Roche is, again, going to be massive. It give the Aegis over to GPK once more. With the Ags, going to be near impossible to kill. Has the full sight of Vice off the back of that fight. So even more control coming out here for the side of BetBoom, and they'll just get away with it.
They absolutely will. Roshan will roll, but it won't really make a difference at all. See Heroic not able to get there in time to contest this Roshan attempt. Your Aegis now up onto GPK. Save will go ahead and pick up the Roshan banner. Immediate rotations up towards the top lane here from Miero and GPK, hoping to maybe find K1, but K1, of course, is going to back his way out. I was saying just earlier as well, John, like K1 on the Troll, it's just... This hero feels so awkward when you hit this stage of the game where you're falling behind, because it just feels like you get so easily kited every single fight once you've pressed battle tracks.
It does. At the very least, he has a shard that can help you in some of these wider team fights, get some damage spilling out to other targets, but I don't know, like, doesn't feel like Hector has the best backup in terms of trying to get AoE control. You've got Earth Spike, you've got the Hoof Stomp, and that's it. And it has to be a very timely response from Heroic, which again, in that bot tier 1 fight, just did not feel like it was fast enough in trying to rescue that beleaguered troll warlord. BetBoom team, they've got the security of the Aegis. They can just look towards that high ground, take care of this last outer tower. It's not going to take them too long. Hell, they even have the full Ags up for Miero. Double lasso ready here.
Jump is out. Immediate
Miero?
Expo Schofield. Very quick reaction to Miero. He will get tipped by
Miero.
Defy. So what was he thinking, John?
He wanted to kidnap. He does get the BKB off after the fact before dying, but probably should have BKB'd as he was walking up casually into high ground. That will hold back BetBoom from looking for this fight and provide a bit of an opening for Heroic. So, no high ground threat for a little bit until the respawn's out. They've got the smoke. They can go for some rewards or...
Yeah, charges out. They're going to try and chase save. Defy's going to find him with a nice blink in. I kind of wonder at this point, like a couple of mistakes here and there and BetBoom, they could find themselves in dire straits if they're not too careful. Miero kind of started this little train of deaths here, but you do have to be somewhat wary. Heroic, I mean, they still have plenty of potential to make this game happen.
That they do. Again, with the Ags up on Analog, very disruptive in the middle of these fights, especially as these BKBs start to whittle down. You've got a lot of good output on Hector. It just needs a little bit more defense. Is going for that full Lincolns to just not get caught out by the lasso while the BKB's up and running. So you will have some answers. For BetBoom team, I mean, they still maintain this 15k lead. They're still in control. Still have a lot of time on that Aegis. They just need to not get too excited. You know, no dive in high ground in the smoke.
The lines are being drawn through the mid lane though, John. I mean, they might get excited very, very soon again. Not to be dissuaded after one little mistake, John. Maybe a couple more before they learn. We shall see. Heading down to the bottom lane. I mean, you may as well wait for a couple more items, right? Well, I say that. There is an Aegis about to expire in about 2 minutes, so maybe not. Here we go.
Yeah.
BetBoom team. They'll start to move in through the bottom lane. GPK in the mid. You've got lassos, you've got tossbacks. Plenty of opportunity to fish for somebody.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Jump is there, lasso is out, Schofield's been caught. Miero, he makes sure he gets himself the right target. Jump is out, Defy, he finds a double hoof stop. Immediate buyback here from Schofield. They will force out the BKB of GPK. GPK actually saving Defy Llama for a nice arrow from Toronto Tokyo. GPK now out of BKB, does need to be somewhat cautious, but he does still have a secondary life in the Aegis and does pop the barrier. Now the Stampede has been popped at Schofield. He's already gone. Sanity out as well. They've caught Defy Llama. Oh, the immediate buyback onto Schofield. Oh, rather the dieback. Not going to be feeling very good.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Now the bottom racks is under siege.
That is just really great understanding from BetBoom how far they can push themselves with how durable they are. They find one more.
They do. They will find themselves Analog here on the Void. Analog going down quite fast. Bottom racks is gone. BetBoom, they'll move in onto the tier 3 mid tower. It's quite hard at this point to see Heroic being able to find a way back into this game, I'll tell you. We know for a fact Heroic probably is not going to call GG. They have waited literally every single game for the Ancient to fall before they actually say anything. But with Mega Creeps against them, you kind of ask yourself how they do intend on defending and trying to make this game work.
Yeah, it does look like a really tough task, especially with Save just looking to jump forward and Miero as well. Mega Creeps up. They can kind of hold it. They've got some AoE clear. Hector is already at least keeping top shoved in. So there has to be some sort of response from BetBoom, or not. And they could just look for the end game here, no problems. It does look like they'll just get that done.
Jump is out, double lasso, Miero. He found Defy, he found KJ. I think he found himself a W while he was at it. KJ is down. Devi will get tipped in the middle of all this. Poor old Devi Lava. In for more. Schofield even getting dived. Forced up down to the fountain. Onto the OD they go. They will try for GPK, but he's got the barrier. How much is that barrier?
It's 70%
2K.
his max mana. Yep.
2k right now, John. GG is cool.
Yeah, and
My
BetBoom
good
team, dominant fashion here in game number 1 in Toronto, Tokyo. The arrow to get the vision, to get the force stack. You know, just small cheeky plays like that does go out.